This video is going to be on how do we solve percents using proportions. The first thing that we need to discuss is how do we set up a proportion when we have a problem that has percent. So this is what we're going to be using all the time when we're dealing with percents. We're always going to do the percent on top. On the bottom, it's always going to be the total percent, which will always be 100. On the right hand side, we're always going to be putting the number, which is going to be the part of in the problem, and then on the bottom we are always going to put the total number of whatever it is we're dealing with. It could be people, it could be money, whatever it is we're dealing with. Okay, and if you're ever stuck, this will always be the is over the of. And I'll explain what those words mean in a second. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some of these key concepts that we need to understand. The first thing that it says is what percent of 25 is 5. And if you notice, they're showing you in a picture what we're talking about. So the whole is 100. We want to know what percent of 25 is 5. So in this case, we want to know just from here to here, what is this out of the whole 25, which is representing the 25%. If you make this picture, this is going to help you fill this part in. Okay, so the 25 is telling me that's my total, that's my 100%. So when I set this up, they put percent over 100%, and I have 25 is my total, so that means that should go on the bottom. And if you notice, guys, we have that keyword that I was telling you, the is. Do you see this is right here? Is 5. That tells me that this is my is, and then of 25, that's where I set it up. 5 part over whole, or is over of. And then from here, I would be cross multiplying to get my answer. Okay, now remember, we don't necessarily have to always cross multiply. If there's something that we can easily multiply by to get the next one, we can do that. So let's say that I decided to do that. If I did the multiplication and I said, okay, well, 25 times what gets me to 100? Well, I can multiply that by 4. I can multiply that by 4. So then what is my percent? My final answer would be 20%. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one, finding a part. What is 20% of 25? Same thing, guys. The total is this whole 100 that's representing the 25, and I want what is 20%. So the is the part. Okay, again, we have percent down here, guys, so I need to put 20% on top. And then of what? Of 25. So my of is going to go down here. And I don't know this top number. Okay, same thing. We could be doing cross multiplication, or if we notice that we can multiply by, we can do that. So I can say, okay, times 4 times 4. Now this one doesn't work exactly because I don't have this first number. So to be able to go to the other side, I actually need to work backwards. I can do divided by 4. So what is 20 divided by 4? That is 5. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next example, finding a whole. 20% of what is 5? So here's my is. Is what? 5. That's my part. That's how I know that it's going to be is over of. So I'm going to put 5. Of what? I don't know of what. That's what it's asking me. So that's what my question mark is down here. I do have a percent. And remember, we always have 100%. So that would be 20% out of 100%. Same thing, guys. We're going to either cross multiply or if we notice something easy that's going on, I can also do that. So 5 times what? Times 4 gives me 20. So times 4, and if I work backwards, I can divide by 4. So what's 100 divided by 4 is giving me 25. This is not percent because it wasn't percent. These are just the totals that we were trying to find. Okay guys, let's go ahead and look at the first example. The first example says I have $150 of which I donated 45 to make a wish foundation. What percent of my money did I donate? So again, the total that I have is 150. Remember that when we were setting it up, we had said it was percent over total percent, and then the is over of, or the part over the total. So my part in this case is the $45. My total, how much money total did I have, was the $150. N is what percent, I don't know, but I know that the total percent would have been 100%. If I had donated all of my money, I would have donated 100%. So from here, again, we can cross multiply. So let's say here we would be having 100 times 45, so I'm going to write that here, and 150 times n. Okay, and then from here I can ask myself, okay, how do I get rid of that 150? The way to do that would be to divide both sides by 150. That way I can get my n by myself, so I'm going to divide each side by 150. So my answer here would be 30, because 45 is 30% of 150. Okay, let's go ahead and look at example 2. In example 2 it says, I have made 25 Christmas cards. I have only mailed 24% of them. So how many have I mailed? So remember, again, it's going to be percent over the total percent, and then the part over the whole. Therefore, I have made 25. Now you have to ask yourself, is that the total, is that the whole, or is that the part? Here, this would be my total. Therefore, I can set that up as 25. Okay, I don't know how many I mailed, so that's my question mark. The part that I mailed, I don't know. I know that it's out of 100%, and I've only mailed 24% of these. So here, guys, it tells me that I want to simplify. So I'm going to see if I can do anything with this highlighted part. I can divide both of these by 4, and so I get down here 25. And if I divide 24 by 4, I get 6, and I still have 25 on the other side. So now I want to simplify this. I can do that because if I multiplied, it'd be 25 times a number equals 25 times a number. Therefore, I already know that the correct answer is 6. So 6 is 24% of 25. Let's go ahead and do example 3. On example 3, it says, of the 7th graders, only 117 went to the dance. That is 45% of all the 7th graders. How many 7th graders are in our school? So 45% of all the 7th graders. Do we know our total? No, we don't. We only have a part. So we only have 117. So if you notice, guys, they're showing you the little picture. They're saying that 100%, okay, would be, if I had 100%, it would be if all 117 of the students showed up. So that did not happen. Therefore, I don't know my whole. But I know that 17 is 117 is 45% of the total. So if I set this up, it would be 117 over what? I don't know. And 45% over 100%. And now we can do the cross product. So this is going to be 117 times 100 and 45 times question mark. So how do we find that question mark? The only way to do that is if we divide both sides by 45, and we can get our answer. So our answer would be 260. And you can ask yourself, does this make sense? And it does, because 117 of 260, that's kind of about half, and that's kind of the percent that we were dealing with. So that's how we can always double check and be 100% sure. To finish off, guys, let's go ahead and look at these two examples. This is just to kind of recap. If you notice here, how do we find what percent of 150 is 45? So if you're, again, guys, the of, the is, of goes on the bottom, is goes on the top. Okay, you cross multiply like it says, divide, and then you simplify, and you got your answer. And the second example, same thing. How do we find 35% of 90? Of is on the bottom, so here's my of. Okay, is what number? That's the part that we don't know. That's why we have that variable on top, or the question mark. And then we have the percent over percent. And then we do what we've been doing. We write the cross product, we divide, and then we have our answer.